Hi there, welcome to another video. So today I just want to give you my perspective on my first few months of kind of collecting Games Workshop products and kind of getting into the playing aspect, the painting aspect and all that kind of stuff. And what I want this to be is kind of a, if I started again, this is what I would do, okay? So first and foremost, if you're thinking about getting into the hobby of Games Workshop products, or even, you know, hobby painting and playing this type of tabletop game in general, get yourself down to Games Workshop. So go in one of their stores, look at the products on the shelf, look at all the paints they do, look at some of the literature they've got in there, look at the stuff they've got on display, and talk to the people who work there. So start with that and just kind of get a flavour and then decide what you want to do. So I know lots of people who all they want to do is paint. They want to paint some lovely miniatures, stick them on display, and then never do anything ever again. Now I know a few of those, and that's great. I've seen some excellent paint work from a few friends, and they just really enjoy that aspect of it, the solitary aspects of doing the painting while they're watching TV and that kind of stuff, and collecting the miniatures. But the other aspects is if all you want to do that kind of pushes you down the route of what you're going to buy. Paints that look like this, paints that look like this, paints that look like this. So that's kind of just from that perspective. If you want to play the game, you're going to need to buy some rules. You might want to read up on some lore and that kind of stuff. So work out what you want to do before doing anything else. If you're specifically looking into Games Workshop products, decide what you want to play or collect. And so specifically with playing, you've got 40k, Age of Sigmar, Shadespire, Lord of the Rings, and a smattering of other stuff. And Night Vault, which is the kind of the follow-up to Shadespire. So invest some time in looking at all those different things and decide what you want to do. Once you've done that and you want to start building an army specifically for playing, pick something. Pick an army to concentrate on, even in just the short term. Because if you're going to pick something like Space Marines, but you don't enjoy the aspects of painting too much, you're going to have a lot of dudes that look just like this. And if you don't enjoy painting, it's going to get boring pretty quickly. And that is something that will be common throughout what's going on. So if you're collecting an army, just be aware that you're going to be painting lots of very similar models quite regularly. So pick a faction and start with that. Then buy a rulebook. So this is the 8th edition 40k rulebook. It has got a large amount of lore. It has got lots and lots of examples of painted miniatures, and it has got quite a large amount of information on playing the game and the actual rules. So if you're going to play 40k, buy this one, or buy the Age of Sigmar alternative or the Lord of the Rings alternative. I wouldn't buy a big rule book if I was going to play Shadespire, because the rules that come in the core box of that are very good, and it also has some lore. So that's what to do next. Get yourself a rule book and have a good read of it. So next, learning the lore, or learning some of the lore. So if you don't know anything about the dudes that you're painting, you know, I think you'll enjoy it more if you pick up a bit more information. You don't have to read a big book like this to learn about the lore. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of YouTube videos, all kind of related to the lore of the game. There's podcasts, there's all sorts. There's online forums, plenty of information for you to pick up in all sorts of areas. So get into the lore and learn a little bit more about what you're going to, the kind of the hobby that you're undertaking from that perspective. Next, for the hobby side of it, investigate paint systems. So Games Workshop, their kind of paint system that they tell everyone to use is called Citadel paints. There's also Army Painter, P3, Vallejo, and a whole kind of smattering of others. I think for me, I went with Citadel Paints because I thought it would be the easiest to kind of to keep an eye on if I was reading books and it mentioned any paints. I'd be able to get the exact paint. I wouldn't have to go online and find some sort of table that converts Citadel paints for P3 or Vallejo or Army Painter or all that kind of stuff. I'd just be able to go for the straight thing. But I would say anyone that tells you one paint system is better than the other, I'd be dubious. Some people say that Citadel paints are shit because they dry out all the time. Other people say that Army Painter isn't very good because you have to shake it for an incredible amount of time just to get the right consistency. I wouldn't believe any of that stuff. I would kind of look at some videos, some reviews and that kind of thing, and start from there and then pick a paint system and stick to it in the short term. Now, I don't buy directly from Games Workshop. If I buy from other places like Element Games in the UK, Darksphere in the UK, I can pick up any of their products for 20 to 30% cheaper. So I know we all want to support the hobby, but you can buy them from those places and it's just cheaper, it's just more cost effective. So that's why I do it. So everything I've got, you know, I'd have to stick another 30% on or so just to keep up with the hobby. So it's worth bearing in mind. Games Workshop is great for getting in there and looking at all the stuff, but not so great on pricing, so buy from elsewhere. But if you want help and advice, get yourself into Games Workshop. So I've been to 5 or 6 Games Workshop. Everyone I've met has been a fan. Everyone I've met has been very eager to speak to newcomers, but not pushy on sales. And yeah, just really, really very helpful. So if you've got any questions or queries, you can't find answers online, or you just want someone to talk to, go and visit your local Games Workshop because the guys are very knowledgeable. If you've got a problem with any of their products, get something that's broken, so broken on a sprue, or you've bought a paint and when it's been delivered to you, or you realise when you've got home that it's not mixed properly, or it's gone dry or hard or anything like that, take it back. Speak to Games Workshop, get it swapped out. They will definitely help you. They're very hot on quality control, so speak to them, they will help you. Okay, so next thing to do, or that I wish I'd done, is pace your purchases. Don't go ahead and buy huge amounts at one time because you can't play it all at the same time and you can't paint it all at the same time. So if you can, kind of slow your purchases and work your way up gradually, because it also, there's a lot of information to take in with Warhammer or Games Workshop products. So if you're, you know, you might realise down the line that as you're collecting your army, you could have put your money into not another 20 miniatures. You could have bought a tank, or you could have bought a bannerman, or you could have got a flying unit. You know, pace your purchases and work out, you know, don't run too far ahead of yourself, because like I say, you can't paint it at the same time. You can't, you can't learn too much. So do that. What I'd also say as well is before you rock up to Games Workshop, get at least 3 colours of paint on your miniature, because that is their standard limit for the minimum they allow on the table. And I can understand that, because Games Workshop, obviously, they want everything on the table to look as cool as possible, and that means painting it. So get a lick of paint on anything before you take it to Games Workshop, or any game night for that matter. Keep up to date with the rule books. If something new comes out, get it. So this is the 8th edition. I think the 7th edition was out about 4 years ago. It's not a great length of time between editions, but yeah, keep up to date with them, because as soon as the new one comes out, everyone's going to start playing it. Get involved with the community. So whether that means attending game nights, joining forums or Facebook pages and that kind of thing, get some perspective on everyone else's kind of journey of using these products, because it's it's been invaluable to me to talk to other people that have got into the hobby, because it helps me to understand what's coming up, because these guys are really knowledgeable about what's going on, you know, on what's changed in the recent history. So definitely do that. And finally, just remember, this is a collector's hobby in terms of you want to get your armies together and that kind of thing. But it's an absolute marathon. It's not a sprint. No one is supposed to be owning the entire Games Workshop range. There's too many products, too many armies, too many factions for you to think that you're going to own everything. No one can afford it, realistically. And it's just, you know, find out what you want to do with this hobby and start doing it. Don't think that in 10 years' time I'll have all of the factions, because in reality, in 10 years' time, there's going to be a whole range of new products out, and everything will have moved on before you've had a chance to do it. So don't get overwhelmed. Play the hobby to enjoy it, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know. I'll make more like it. If you didn't, tell me what you didn't like. Thanks very much. Bye.